Marco. Hi, Javier. Nice to have you here. Okay, we're going to start now a super interesting webinar in this parallel session. We're going to wait just half a minute as we do in the parallel sessions in order to have everybody aboard. So once I see that the number of people is stabilizing, we're going to start. But well, we're going to have a very interesting session because in my opinion, we have one of the two best lean CEOs that we can make an interview. So it's a pleasure. Meanwhile, people is arriving. I want to thank you for all of you, for both of you, Javier, because Javier now is in Buenos Aires. So he make a lot of different changes in the agenda to be quite early in the morning. Thank you very much. And as well as Marco. Marco is in a trip, so he make a hold for us to be present here in this legal conference. I know that you make also a lot of effort to be here. Okay, I see that the number of people is being stabilized, so we can start with this webinar. We have just half an hour. I want to introduce you first. I want to introduce Dr. Javier Sala. It's a CEO, but also is one of the best cardiologists in the world. Really, it's impressive the knowledge that he has, and also he has the responsibility to run a hospital. And you know that to run a hospital, it's always easy. To run a company in Argentina is always easy. To run a hospital in Argentina have to be easy for sure. So Javier, I don't know how you manage this, but we are wishing to understand that. And Marco Lopez runs on one of the most successful hospitality industries. It runs a group of hotels but holiday hotels that always is more complicated than just city hotels. Quite diverse, different hotels, not always the same. So I mix a lot of variety, and always this is very, very difficult because hospitality is something that is very, very close to the customer as well as healthcare. So to have the opinion of two CEOs that are very close to the customer, I think that is something very, very key. But I don't want to make this introduction very long, but I think that Javier, if you can explain us a little your trajectory and why lean is helping you.
Thank you, Oriol. Thank you. So for me, it's a pleasure to be here. It's really an honor to share this with you and with Marco. So I'm a cardiologist, as you mentioned, and trained here in Argentina, and then I got a Fulbright scholarship, went to the US to do research. And while I was getting there my PhD, I actually started working in the university, and a friend of mine told me that he was working on improvement in hospitals. And he introduced me to lean. When he told me that he was having a lot of trouble with physicians, I said, okay, tell me what's lean about. And I fall in love about it, okay, because I think this is the best thing actually you can do in a hospital. We're trained in many things, but we're not training how can we improve processes in our universities and after that. So I actually came back to Argentina 12 years ago, having learned from this friend to do lean. And also we started the lean transformation here in the hospital. And since then, it has been an amazing journey. It has been so important for us because the most important thing is to add value to customers. So in our case, to add value to our patients. So we actually live for that. Okay, so our motto here in the hospital is patients comes first, second, third, and then their family. So this actually is a lean, a very lean approach.
Okay, thank you very much for this introduction. Of course, it can be hours with the introduction, but thank you for sharing. And Marco, how do you meet and how lean is helping not to your organization? How is helping you?
Well, thank you for the invitation. Nice to be here with you and Javier. It's been a pleasure to prepare this participation in the Lean Global Summit. How Lean is helping me? We used to have a culture of continuous improvement. Before we met Lean, we always wanted to improve. All the company were always looking for solutions in order to improve and processes and customer satisfaction. And when we met Lean, it was love at first sight because it was invented for us. So we just find the way to implement a methodology to make it mechanical and being able to involve all the company, all the organization in the lean tools. So lean for us was save our lives, because it gave us the kind of solution that we needed to make the company continuously improving.
Okay, thank you. I think that we understand how this embeds, how it meets for each of you. Okay, I have several questions that I think that is the questions that usually worries a CEO. I meet some of them. And first is, how lean is helping you to make profit? Because one of the biggest things in a company is to survive and make profit. Then we will talk about legacy. Later, we will talk about teams. Later, we will talk about managing. But first thing, how lean is helping you to make profit? Javier, I know that for your in a hospital, profit is a different word, okay? But I want to understand that.
So I think that, like we mentioned before, okay, if you have the right mind and heart, at the right place, lean is actually very important because it puts the patients first. So if you're always thinking about how can you add value to patients, the patients will treasure your hospital, and actually they will select you to be, their provider. So that's the first thing, always putting, the patient's interest and values first. Second is actually creating this continuous improvement, like Marco mentioned, okay? So being able to develop your people by training them in all this culture that you want them to be problem solvers and also do Kaizen and do, continuous improvement. That actually also makes the organization adapt and adopt to the challenges that come. So I think that, it helps you grow with that vision without losing quality, with always, I would say, treasuring always safety for your employees and also for your patients. So in many ways, I would say that lean helps you grow as an organization and provides a better future.
Okay, I understand this vision, okay, how it helps with this vision on the different aspects, that it's not a balance, but it's an and. This quality and profit and grow and. Okay, I get it that. And Marco, in your case, how lean is helping you to make profit?
At the beginning, we follow the same path as everyone. We focus on the waste, and we simply delete all the waste that we had. So once we finish that, we are starting with the standards and the A3s and all the lean tools. So what we have with the lean is that it made us able to consolidate our competitive advantage. We try to be efficient. We've been always an efficient organization, but with the lean, we have a methodology to make that in a scientific way. So involve everyone, as I said before. So consolidating this competitive advantage allow us to compare with the market monthly or weekly and see and analyze how we are evolving. So we are able to, let's say that we are able to measure all the times, all the day, every single procedure, every single standard work, and so you can improve yourself. You don't need a boss, you don't need someone to have to come to you to tell you how good or bad you are. Everybody can check themselves. So this is the way we use lean to improve. And at the end of the day, what we are looking for and we are focusing all the time is indeed a culture change. I mean, we always look for that, and we keep on that path. I mean, this is a never-ending journey, and we look for the change of our culture so we can improve. We can keep on improving every year, every month, every week.
That's wonderful, because as you said, okay, first you start with the standards, so you start with waste, so removing the quick fruits that you can have, but this is okay. But what is important is this long term. And you say something that to keep this competitive advantage, so to always be on the head, because there is one thing that I think that most of the CEOs say, that it's this horse riding, to be always on the winning horse. You can never rest. Okay, you arrive to somewhere, now artificial intelligence. Oh my God, run again. How we can incorporate that? Okay, now we are okay. Now millennials are arriving. How to hire them, how to take fruit of them. Okay, go again. You are okay? Okay, we have a pandemic. We are okay. So we have always this running, this horse running, but we have to be the winning horse because otherwise in 3 years we can be Kodak. Okay. So, and I think that both of you say that. So how lean, I think that you make a little answer on that, but how lean helps you to be the winning horse of your sector? Maybe now, Marco, I'm going to start with you because I think that you give us some clues. So probably just finishing the message.
Well, it always depends on the quality of your competitors, because if you have good competitors, it's tougher. But if you, for me, the basics are, if you have a team aligned with the project and the values and focus, your company definitely is a winning horse. I mean, you're going to do it well. Then now, what the lean, the role the lean plays in all these uh, project is that it helps you to share the methodology with everyone. So it helps you that every single person that is involved in the company know how to add value to the process, know how to add value to the company. So that's what we are focusing on right now.
Okay. And Javier, how you can be the winning horse in your environment?
Okay, so I think you can answer that in very different ways. The first one is actually if you are a learning institution like we want to be, okay, you can be a winning horse. So learning from yourself, learning from other industries, and learning from your mistakes, learning from the past, trying to avoid things in the future that you made before. Also investing on education, I think is very important. We actually created our own lean course to be able to train our people. We do that, several times during the year. Listening to your customer. It's very important to listen to your patient, in our case, as a hospital, okay? And your people, the ones that do the work, because actually they know how to improve the work. So that should always be also adding value to customers and your people, the way they would do the work. Being creative, being innovative, like you mentioned, artificial intelligence is here to stay. So how can we actually use it for the best for the patient and also for your organization? Growing with quality, because sometimes I see some companies being interested in growing, but if you lose quality, that will actually not provide you a good future. So I think these are probably a couple of concepts, okay, that we actually think that can help you to be a winning horse.
Okay, you have been naming, both of you, team, involving, people, all these words that always sounds good. But reality is very complex because people is not just one thing. People is very diverse. There is a lot of diversity. There is a lot of interest. There is a lot of aims inside. Okay, so probably we cannot be talking about people as one thing. How do you manage that? How you attract the talent, but especially how you can make fruitful this talent, how you can make that all these different talents, and how you make that these different people keeps doing these different fruits. Javier.
Okay, so how can you attract the talent as a CEO? Okay, I would probably say that you need to hire to culture. Okay, so that's one of the important things. So try to find people that are actually coming to work with you, that they have the values, okay, and principles that you have as an organization. Because probably the most important thing is actually find those people that can be trained, are interested in training, are curious to learn, but they have the right values and principles. That those things are difficult to change. Okay, so if you find that, you already find treasure, because you actually, if they're interested in learning and training, then you can provide that training. Uh, Try to grow the I would say the company's reputation, okay, because actually that's very important. Reputation is about customers, okay. Reputation is how important is adding value to customers, because people want to be part of that team, okay. They want to be part of that winning team that is always interested in quality and safety for the customers and improving, okay, constantly improving. If you provide this organization of being creative, innovative, you will attract this young talent that you were talking about before, okay? Because they're actually always thinking about how can I make an impact and how can I make an impact fast. That you have to be careful because, sometimes it takes time. Okay, it's not that easy to make an impact fast. But I think, you can harvest from doing that, educating your people. Okay, always looking inside for opportunities, because you have this talent in your organization too that you need to find, and provide support for their ideas, the new ways that they do the work, to be able to have them motivated, engaged with change and with continuous improvement.
Okay, so you don't let the people get boring. I see, but clearly, very good. And Marco, how you attract this talent? How you make this fruitful? Because also you have very different people. You have from chefs to waiters. You have from hotel directors. So how do you manage all this diversity?
Well, a few tips on this issue. First, as Javier said, to attract talent, it is key to share some values. I mean, if you don't like providing services, if you don't like humbleness, honesty, transparency, and so empowerment, is difficult. So I would say to attract talent, first you have to identify that you share some values, at least key values. Then we used to invest a lot of time in providing a context, because people normally don't understand the lean universe, and we try to invest time and resources in providing the context so they understand how system works and how everything goes on, and then helping them. And finally, you explain the project. At the beginning, when you're trying to be interesting for a good CV, you simply explain the project. So this is nice to attract them, but at the end of the day, sharing the values and providing the context is the best way to attract them. We recently hire a manager from Deloitte, one of the big consultant firms, and we dedicate at least 2-3 weeks trying to explain him the concepts and the works and the tools and he said it's okay. And this week he went to a lean day, an office lean day in Barcelona, and he simply fell in love. He fell in love, and now he says that he understands everything and he doesn't want to move. So this is a mixture of sharing values, providing context, helping them explain the projects, and letting them talk to another people in the same universe so they understand what the future looks like.
That's important, because probably I don't know how many hospitals run lean in Argentina. I don't know how many hotels run lean in Canary Islands, but probably you are one of the crazy ones. So you are different from the others. And how do you manage this feeling? So when you talk with your peers, with other CEOs in healthcare, in hospitality, and you say, yes, you're running lean, and people probably they look you very strange. Okay, so how do you talk about that with other CEOs? What is the reaction that you have from your peers? Marco?
Well, we are a bit strange. We are a bit strange, but surprisingly, most of our competitors are starting to look for operations managers with lean would be considered as part of the description, of the job description. So we are starting to create some kind of trend. So people are understanding that this methodology helps us a lot. So we hope that this will be a standard within the future. But nowadays, yes, nowadays we are a bit strange. But people realize that they work. I wouldn't say they work less, but they are in control. And when a waiter is in control, I suppose that one waiter talks to another waiter for another hotel. So they keep in touch and they say, well, these guys are doing something which is interesting. So now I know my sales every day or my sales every hour, or I can do something about it. And I talked to my boss that I could do something, and they told me, why do you talk in your team and you start to do it tomorrow? So this kind of cultural changes are what lean brings us and help us a lot to improve results and not to be so strange.
That's true. And Javier, probably I am quite sure that you are strange also on healthcare in Argentina, but you said also that lean is a competitive advantage. Okay, so sharing lean is good for you, or you are losing, or sharing your culture and your way of doing things will make you lose competitivity?
So I think that you're right about saying that when we started this journey, we were probably one of the first ones here in Argentina looking into this. But we started sharing knowledge, like Marco mentioned. Okay, so presenting at CMO meetings, in the national country, in the national meetings. We also invited people to come to our Gemba. So we invited people to come see what we were doing. So presidents from different companies, CEOs from different companies, come and see, the way we manage, the way what Marco was saying, our metrics, KPIs, the standard work. And we also created the first Lean Healthcare Summit in 2018 to be able to share the knowledge in healthcare organizations. So that for us was very important, because if everybody starts, getting better, then you're also, I would say, in a good, way, setting yourself also to be obliged to get better and better. Okay. So, and the best thing you can do as a hospital is actually get better, because we're dealing with lives, we're dealing with patients. And I think you can't avoid, okay, getting better and better. How can you do better for your patients? So I think that, it doesn't matter that the rest of the other hospitals adopt lean. Is actually, it's even better for you. Okay, that's the way I see it.
Yeah, this is impressive. How sharing makes you better. So how sharing
Yes.
your competitive advantage makes that your own competitive advantage even is better. And something this it blows some heads. So, but I'm sure of what you're saying. Okay, I have a couple of questions more, and then I will try to make a couple of questions from you. So we have the question and answers open for all of the people that are looking here now live. So we will have time for that. But I have another question. So Marco, how, as a CEO, do you find time to make new things?
You have to find out that time. What we do is that we try to share our agendas. So we try to set a minimum of time dedicated to work cycles and another minimum of time dedicated to projects. So if I would say that middle management, it would say between 10 and 20% of the time dedicated to projects, and managers would be around 20, 30, and project teams, it can be up to 80, 70% of the time in the agendas. So you have to look for another trend. You have to listen to your customers. You have to listen to your team. So we have to find out the way to find time to improve, and the way we do it, we have to hear, we have to insist customers and teams, and the ways that we have to agree. And in fact, we sit on the table and we agree what we do and what we do not do, in order to make some time available to be open for another project.
So you have your own leader standard work, and physically you block time for
Yeah.
this.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, and we do what we do is every week we sit and we share our agenda with our direct boss, and we analyze what happened, if there was a problem, an emergency or whatever, something different that we had to change. It's okay, but at the end of 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, you have to at least dedicate 20, 30% of your time to the projects that we set at the beginning of the year or at the beginning of the month that we're going to do. So we try to, and we change it. We change all those projects depending of the demand or whatever happened.
That's a very good tip. That's a very good tip. Thank you, Marco. And Javier, not you, but your people. I think that they have a very aggressive, very busy daily things, that they have a lot of things to do every day. How do you manage with the complaints of the people saying, I don't have time for improvement, lean is fantastic, but I don't have time for lean? How do you manage that with your people?
I think you need to convince them that you actually need to, like Marco said, okay, saves the time to actually look into the work you're doing, the way you're doing the work. How can you improve? Because It's easy, like you mentioned, people thinking that, I don't have the time to stop and actually, think, how can we do better? But that's the worst thing you can do, because it's going to be always, like a snowball that is going to be increasing. So you need to actually be able to convince them, okay, that they need to have the time to think how they can do the better the work, to analyze the process, to do your value stream maps. How can we actually reduce waste, like Marco mentioned at the beginning? So it's very, very important for them to see that. And if they don't see that, actually, you need to actually deselect what they are actually concentrating on and have them actually prioritize, okay, what their work should be. So in that case, they are receiving your support to be able to stop, okay, and think and analyze how can they do better.
And again, Javier, now we are on the final. We have just 4 minutes to leave. We're going to try to make some questions from the audience, but can you share very briefly which steps do you recommend, or which steps worked for you on the trajectory over the years to make a lean transformation, to implement lean, for example, in your hospital? Which is the different steps that you conducted and you can share with us?
So in our case, we started with like model cells. So we selected this area where you had people that were, I would say, interested in learning, interested in changing, because that makes it a little bit easier. So start working with, in our case, it was working with small projects in different areas with this type of people. That created momentum, and that actually was contagious for the rest of the organization. So that's one thing. And the second, invest a lot of in education. Okay, so educate your people. And sometimes also it's very important to get them away from your company, take them somewhere else. They can see Gembas, how things are going, because that actually it's very important for them to see how others are doing their work. And these open their minds too, saying, hey, we can do that too. So those were probably, 3 tips that very important for us to be able to do the cultural transformation we're going through.
Okay, this was a question from Katarzyna, okay, and also was saying that he wants to do that in her hospital in Poland, okay, so yeah, and likes a lot the passion. Marco, which tools you can name us as a tip? Which tools and methodologies, small tools and methodologies have been key in your case in order to implement and do the lean transformation?
I would say be patient, keep the determination, but being flexible at the same time. For example, we can negotiate how, but we cannot negotiate what. Negotiate the target has to be clear. Another tip would be learning to manage your own ego and teaching managers to manage their own egos. You should not let anyone lead a team if he's not able to lead himself properly. And that's it. Be patient and determination. It's a marathon. We have to keep well balanced physically and emotionally, and sharing, always sharing. Lean days and sharing, travel, go to see another Gembas. This is for me the 4 or 5 more important tips.
And what happens if someone is not sharing this?
Well, at the beginning, if he's not sharing, we let him stay for a while. That was about 5, 6 years ago. Now we let him just 2, 3 months. It's a matter of now the organization is so mature that they involve you, and if you don't feel good, you feel that you have to leave. This is not your place. If you feel that this is a place where you came to do what you say, and it's what you have you say, and nobody else can say anything else, this is not your place. It's simple. It's okay. It's okay, but this is not.
So this is sharing values, really, really, really apply it. Okay, last minute, Javier, any tip, any trick that you can share with other CEOs that probably is looking for us?
I can actually say that, for us, for our hospital, adopting Lean has been invaluable because it was amazing. And actually, through the pandemic, it was very, very important because we had already been in the journey for many years. So our leaders were, early adopters in that case for how to adapt and adopt new ways of working due to the pandemic. So we can treasure Lean as a culture, and we actually are sure that every hospital should do that, through the world.
Okay, thank you very much. We accomplished the 30 minutes. It has been a treasure for me for having these two big monsters in front of me. And I hope that our audience really enjoy that because it's unbelievable what you have shared today with us. See you soon.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.
Thank you. Me too. Thank you. Bye.